everyone, to the Too Long to Listen podcast. I'm Senda, your host, and today with me is Tanvi, Product Marketing Manager at Clay, which is a company I die for. I love your marketing. I see you everywhere. So I think this is going to be an exciting conversation. Welcome on the podcast.
Thank you, Senda. So excited to be here and excited to get into it.
Amazing. So we can start with a short and sweet intro from you. Tell us what you've been up to before Clay and how you got to your position today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, as a product marketing manager at Clay, my entire role is focused on being a bridge between marketing, sales, and the product team. Now, you may be wondering, what does that even look like in practice? It means making sure our product launches align with what the market is looking for and making sure that our sales team is equipped to understand the product and know how to sell it and make sure that we can take a product successfully to the market to expand what Clay is doing and what the market is using Clay for. This role is a really unique combination of being product oriented, but also understanding the market and customers. So my background actually is really customer facing. Before I came into product marketing at Clay, I was actually working on our post sales team where I helped customers use Clay all day, 24/7. And I learned so much about the product, but I also learned a lot about how customers wanted to use the product. And while I was working in that role, I noticed a lot of knowledge gaps between the product and engineers who were building Clay with how the market and our customers were trying to use Clay. So in that role, I started doing these informal, just user empathy sessions where I would have engineers just work on building customer use cases using the products that they built. And through those sessions, they actually were able to build more empathy with our customers and actually implement changes in the product that led to a smoother customer facing experience. So I think I've always been in the intersection of customers and product. And now as a PMM, I get to take that to a higher level and focus on business priorities at Clay.
What an interesting journey. I love to hear that you got into product marketing after spending so much time understanding the product. I think those are the best product marketers when they fully grasp the user experience, the audience, and the challenges the customer is trying to solve. So what were the things that stood out for you when you realized the gap between engineering and market or customer, I guess, customer needs? What were the biggest gaps that you felt the need to fill? And is that also the moment when you learned about product marketing, or was it kind of a natural shift?
Some of the most insightful gaps that I kind of learned during these sessions were actually understanding how holistic customer journeys look like in practice. I think a lot of times it's really easy for engineers to build product in silos without realizing what customer impact can be. And it's really important to have tight communication sync between product and engineers, especially when you have a company that is shipping so quickly like Clay is. We are shipping new features every week. Our launch process is insanely fast, and it's really exciting how much we're delivering for our customers. But it's also important that while we're shipping so quickly, they know what all is capable in Clay and also how they can effectively incorporate it into what they already want to do. So I think some of the biggest learnings from that were actually start with the holistic use case versus focusing on just the part where your product actually fits in. And how does that connect to product marketing? Well, we're not selling features as product marketers. I think we're actually selling solutions. We're selling use cases. And the reality is nobody actually cares about your product. If you lead too product forward, I think you can actually miss the mark of what your solution and what your value you're generating can be. And if you really need to lead with the solution. first, the use case that you're solving for first, because that's actually what resonates most with customers. So I think overall, just this idea of being like solution oriented and speaking
Yeah.
the language of your customers really helped me understand how to be a better product marketer.
That resonates with me a lot because I worked in the past with companies that were selling to very technical audiences, and even the most technical audiences don't care about the features. They want to care about the value,
Mm-hmm.
how it's going to save them time or money or whatever the value is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious to hear from you. How does that look like in practice at Clay? Like, how do you ensure that the customer value and the solution part is always at the heart of everything we do?
Mm-hmm.
Is it mostly through collateral you're shipping, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just curious about more of the operational side of things.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, like your website is really important. I think you always need to have a central source of truth on what your solutions are, and especially for new customers or new users who may be learning about your product, you need to make sure your website is always up to date. I think it's an area that can always feel like an afterthought or hard to invest in, but at Clay, we're really intentional about keeping our website up to date as our product is evolving. And a challenge that we have is that our product is so flexible that it can help customers with growth campaigns in every type of industry. I
Yeah.
mean, we work from with customers like not just in the tech industry, but even like music labels, restaurants, like breweries, like Clay is really a tool that can be used by anyone looking to grow their business. So with that type of flexibility, how do you communicate what Clay can actually do for you? So what we have started doing are actually building out like use case pages and a use case library of all of the different ways that you can use Clay with step by step like breakdown of what these use cases look like, but also like connecting that with our customer stories, showing like why Clay actually fits here and our unique differentiators and value props of what's possible doing these use cases in Clay. And once we have these central documents on our website, but also we've built the language on how to talk about them. This translates into our sales team using this language in their first call deck and conversations with prospects. And then we leverage our growth team to run ads on these pages. So it's really important for product marketing to kind of be the vision of how to present your solutions as a company. And then the important work is making sure that you have alignment across your entire go to market team to keep reiterating the same message in every channel.
I'm curious, how many are you as product marketers?
Right now, we are a team of 4 at Clay,
Okay.
but we are growing quickly. We are hiring for more product marketers at Clay. So ask me again at the end of the year.
Okay, I'm curious because it sounds like, I mean, by the way, we use your product, and I'm in marketing, product marketing, and then there's the growth team and there's the sales team. Like, we see a lot of personas use your product and experience that value. So I know there's a lot of use cases. I'm just wondering how many PMMs are handling all of the shipping of like
Mhm.
the messaging and the value proposition. And I want to get into the details of things because the use case driven approach is very efficient for a B2B SaaS product, and it's pretty also most reliable way to sell what you do. I'm curious on how exactly you define, like, are those use cases defined by customer interviews, or simply from like what you know works as a team, or the
Mhm.
feedback you're getting? Like, can you take us through the process of identifying a use case and then driving your collateral from that?
Right now, the way this process works is we have like a set of probably 7 or 8 broad categories of like solutions that we
Yeah.
sell. Um, and right now, our sales team is focused on selling those use cases as packages. But the thing is, even within those categories, there's so many different ways that Clay can actually provide value. So I'll give you an example of like rep assistant. That's one of our use case bundles where Clay can actually automate a lot of the work that a sales rep does outside of actually talking to customers. That can look like things like generating pre-meeting notes or post-meeting follow-ups or creating personalized sales assets like decks or landing pages to send customers, or even like sending Slack digest of what's happening with your current customers and tracking signals on how they're doing in the market and making sure that you're always up to date on where your deals are and how to prioritize them. That's a lot of solutions that we offer just
Yeah.
for sellers, right? It's hard to just communicate that with one package. So what's important to us now is actually going deep into each solution, because even if the our sales rep isn't able to go deep into every solution that we offer in one conversation with a prospect, they have a resource that can be shared with prospects to go deep and actually provide information on how we do this and examples of successes that demonstrate the value we provide here. So yeah, I think it's important for your website to actually go deeper than a lot of times your sellers can even cover in a conversation, because it gives you a central resource to share across different channels.
Yeah. So it sounds like you have your website, your internal
Mhm.
assets as well. Do you work with sales enablement? Like, do you have a sales enablement team as well, or is your team in charge of producing and distributing
Mhm.
the sales collateral?
Yeah, we have a sales enablement team and they are our best friends in product
Okay,
marketing. We work
right.
so closely with them. Like, enablement is probably the most important part of taking a product to market. And if there is anything I've learned as PMM at Clay, it's to make the most of your time in enablement sessions with your sellers. Like, you've done all the hard work of creating the messaging, creating the strategy, creating the go to market plan, and you have everything ready to go to market. But if your sellers don't understand how to communicate this value to the market, then all of that work is essentially for nothing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
enablement is the most critical piece of making sure your product and your messaging are successful in the market.
100%. Like the worst thing, the nightmare of PMMs is like
Mhm.
shipping something no one uses.
Yeah,
It's like the worst thing.
yeah.
All the time and effort just wasted. So, okay, Tanvi, I have another question for you that I'm very curious to ask is the relationship between brand and product marketing at Clay, because I saw your out of home campaigns. I see
Mhm,
what you're doing. Like I'm pretty exposed to how you're promoting your product. How
mhm,
close do you guys work together? Is it the same team or do you handle things differently?
mhm.
Yeah, just a bit more insights there.
Yeah, so I'll give you a breakdown of how our marketing team is structured. We have Bruno, who's our head of marketing, and Bruno oversees four different marketing teams. There's our education team, whose goal is to actually educate customers on how to use Clay. They do workshops, boot camps, all of our online Clay University content is handled by education. Then we have the growth team, whose entire job is focused on driving new users to Clay. And then we have our product marketing team, which is where I sit. And then we have our brand team that focuses on all things brand, all things related to how Clay is positioned in the market visually and working on everything that you see with
Yeah.
our out of home campaigns, and all the magic that makes Clay such a fun brand. So, as a PMM, we work with the brand team on assets related to our product launches and broader storytelling narratives of Clay, like especially when it comes to our website and our web pages, our first call deck. All of those are assets that we work on the brand team with. For things like the out of home campaign, those are more high level, like storytelling narratives that once the team aligns on. Oh, I also forgot to mention our narrative team. I guess we have five teams.
Oh, okay.
So our narrative team is the team that's pushing like how the story of go to market engineering is told in the market. So we have those five teams in marketing at Clay. So everything around the out of home campaign was our amazing brand team, where once we aligned on the message of Clay that we wanted to tell, um, they have amazing artists that brought those visuals to life.
Incredible. And also congrats on opening an office in London. It's pretty
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, lots of great things happening.
Yeah.
I'll ask you one final question,
Mm-hmm.
and this is more about like your advice to any product marketer working in a B2B SaaS or starting their career journey. What would you advise them to focus on the most to grow the fastest?
I would say a few things. One is be really curious about the business and customers. Like, I think the best PMMs are the ones who understand what customers want before they even do, before like the market even starts talking about it. It's so important for you to stay on top of not just where the market is at broadly, but also like what are customers actually looking for, and understanding like all of the different personas you cater to and different segments of your market. The better you understand who you're selling to, the better you can drive business priorities accordingly, the better you can guide the product and team, the better you can help enable sellers to sell better. So it all starts from having deep customer understanding and empathy. So I think that's the most important skill you can build as a PMM. And the second, especially as it relates to technical like SaaS products, like know your product really well. Being able to connect like how something works to the solutions allows you to speak so much more deeper about how your product can service different personas with solutions.
That's, I think, great advice. I'm also taking that advice. Thank
And you
you
know
so
what?
much.
It's always like a work in progress. Like the markets change so quickly. Like it's always a constant journey of learning and evolution. And that's what
Yeah.
I love about PMM.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a role I'm planning on staying in for a couple more years. So thank you so much for
Mhm,
joining me and sharing your experience.
mhm.
And yeah, I can't wait to share your story.
Thank you, Senda. This was so fun and always happy to chat.